The Abandoned series, created by JVNabrew1011, or just JVN1011, is one of the most interesting and fun build mode series I've ever come across. Sure, the building isn't anything evolutionary, but it's still really good. With the final chapter having been released, and the series coming to a close, I thought now was the appropriate time to finally rank every single chapter from the gameplay, the build, and story. Mostly just build and gameplay. So, without further ado, let's stop yapping and get to the ranking. The first chapter in the series and the map that started it all, Abandoned House, is a very interesting map. It's not the greatest map ever made, as this was created around the time when JVN's building skills were simple-ish. This chapter was actually supposed to be a standalone map, with nothing else added, but then people started to beg for Abandoned Station, and now look where we are. The map, gameplay-wise, is very basic, and the build can be a little questionable. A lot, and I mean a lot of big areas of the house, like the kitchen and backyard, are completely caved in, with not much of the house being shown. I would rank this lower, but seeing that this map is the beginning of a really wild ride of a series, that is why I'm putting this chapter in A tier. You might be wondering why the gameplay being shown is just regular house, and that's because while making Abandoned Station, I think, Jay accidentally saved over Abandoned House, and it was lost forever. If you want to see the actual thing, then click the link in the description to see the origin of this incredible series. Abandoned Station, the chapter that officially made this a series. This map is good, but not great. Once again, a big problem occurs, massive areas being blocked off by cave-ins. This map is still good, but the build is still a little basic. And basic gameplay. There isn't really much to say about this map, other than the car at the beginning starts tweaking sometimes, and they removed my favorite parts of the map! All in all, this map will be getting a B tier. Boy, is this chapter interesting to say the least. Yeah, no, this map is trash. Now, the build is okay, but the gameplay is outrageous. The only items are the blue key, plank, hammer, and white key. And not to mention, the second floor is completely sealed off. This map was a little lazily put together, and is one of the worst maps I've seen in a while, which is why this map is absolute trash. Abandoned Forest. This map is a little interesting. It's not a good map. It's all spaced out and can get pretty confusing while navigating. At least the gameplay is a step up, but this map is pretty mid, and not a lot of people like it that much. This map will be getting a deserved D tier. Abandoned School is the first map in Book 1 to actually look amazing. The lighting is super cool, with the perfect mix of dark and light. The gameplay is really neat, with a lot of keys and items to be used, and the build is incredible. The sewer part of the map does look a little bit wonky, but I'll allow it. And that Eye of Insolence in the gym with those flickering lights? Mwah! I really do like this map. A tier all around. The Abandoned Hospital map is sure a treat to play. It's extremely similar to the original hospital map, which is what we're looking for in the Abandoned series. The map actually doesn't have any major areas blocked off, which surprised me a little, considering what the other maps all suffered from. The gameplay is simple, with the basic key item formula, but I think we can all agree that this map deserves an A tier. Abandoned Metro. Where do I even begin? Oh, I know, pointing out the fact that Javian turned himself into a factory. Yeah, Abandoned Hospital and Abandoned Metro were made on the same day. Built and posted all in the same day, and while Abandoned Hospital was pretty good because it had more time put into it, Abandoned Metro was kinda rushed. Even though the map does look kinda alright, to me, some parts look like a jumbled mess of random colored blocks, and I don't like it. This map will be getting a C tier for good effort. It could be lower. Okay, now we're talking. Abandoned Carnival has more work put into it than Abandoned Metro, obviously. This map looks insane. The detail put into it is so incredible that it might be one of my favorite Abandoned Book 1 chapters out of all of them. It looks a lot like normal Carnival, but it looks better than normal Carnival? Which is crazy to say, because this is a build mode map. It's really cool and fun to play in, and Abandoned Carnival also has a legendary secret ending that was unfortunately recorded, I think, but then forgotten and never looked at again. Jay did have a community post teasing this secret ending, but then deleted it. Okay? Hey Jay, maybe you should finally post that promised secret ending and stop making us all wait. This map will be getting an S tier. It's just so good. Okay. We have a lot to talk about this map. Or maybe the least to talk about this map? Yeah, so Jay was struggling with this map and wasn't getting it finished on time. Abandoned Carnival had released like 2 weeks ago by the time he had made this legendary video. And remember, this was around the time Jay was pumping out chapters every 1 to 2 days, so you can kinda guess what happened. He uploaded a video, but that was just the outro cutscene, and that was it. What was he thinking? This chapter, if you can even call it that, is such a nothing map. He did eventually come around and properly made Abandoned City in the Abandoned Lab secret ending. But come on, guys, we all know that's not how you properly make Abandoned City. This chapter is absolute trash. Abandoned Mall isn't anything to really write home about. The map is kind of just plain and simple, with very simple gameplay. Only one major area is blocked off, the vent area. But I don't really mind that at all. But the gameplay is simple, the map is a little boring, and I think we can just move along now. Sorry, Mall, you're getting a D tier. Abandoned Outpost is a really epic chapter. The build is crazy, actually looking kinda like normal Outpost. The map suffers from one key thing though. The map is incredibly spaced out. Yup, the killer for this chapter is that everything is too spaced out, making a very wide map that is wider than it should be. I would probably give this map a B tier for that, which I am, so let's move on. Abandoned Plant has some very mixed reviews. Some say it's really good and amazing, while others say that this chapter was disappointing. I'd say I'm both amazed and disappointed. The map is really good in the main cave area, with a lot of detail put into the damage. It does get really dark though, and the lab areas of this map can get very bland. Like, I would compare the blandness of some of those rooms to Garten of Banban. It's that bad. This map would get S tier if it didn't suffer from these main problems, and the secret ending kind of looks like a confusing maze, where anyone who doesn't know what they're doing would run around until time runs out, or they die. The map is still pretty good in some aspects, and will be getting an A tier. Hooray! We are now on to Book 2, meaning we are only halfway through this. Yay. But oh boy, this map is insane. Abandoned Alleys is a breath of fresh air. Take my word for it. This map is insane. I don't know where these godlike building skills came from, but Jay decided now was the time to go all out with these line of chapters. The map is too impressive, looking so much like the original Alleys map. And he even included the hotel part from Heist and gallery returns. Yeah, we don't talk about Abandoned Gallery anymore. This map is really great, being the first in Abandoned Book 2, because it shows us that Book 2 is gonna be a wild ride. This map deserves an S tier. There's no question about it. Hear me out. Abandoned Store is great and all, but I personally think Abandoned Alleys is better. The map is still really good, and I love the addition of both the sewer areas and a campground that we will definitely not be seeing in the future. But I just think that Abandoned Alleys is much better, and I wouldn't really pick this map to be my top 10. That's for sure. But it's still good enough to get its well-deserved A tier. Good job. Abandoned Refinery gets an easy S tier. The detail and effort put into the map and gameplay is incredible. Jay could actually win in a build competition, depending on who he's against. The addition of the basement is pretty neat, and all in all, I absolutely love this chapter. It's fun to play in, and it's just amazing to look at. Is every Book 2 map gonna get S tier? Abandoned Safe Place is also not a surprise. An extremely good map. The detail is incredible, and I love the gameplay. The additions of new areas via the other neighboring building and a secret basement are all very clever. This map is getting an S tier. Abandoned Sewers is interesting. It's still a good map and all, but please hear me out. I don't really like this chapter as much as the other ones. If you compare this map to the other ones that come before it, you would see the difference. To me, the map seems a little bland compared to the first 4, which it had insane detail put into it. Please do not accuse me of hating or anything, but I prefer other maps over this one. This map is being bumped down to B tier. Also, I think it was a very weird story idea for those 2 TSP members to just trick them into going into the sewers. Just why? Okay, this chapter is good, but I think it could be a little bit better. Abandoned Factory is much better than Abandoned Sewers, but this map does look a bit funny at some places. The outside area looks a little weird to me, but the other parts of the map are pretty good. But I think it could have been a tad bit better. A tier for the awesomeness. This map is just amazing. Abandoned Port is so well built and put together. It's just insane. You can really tell that Jay's building skills are getting much better with each passing chapter. The map and the additional areas of the map are very well detailed, having much care put into it. I love this map very much and will be giving it a well-deserved S tier. Abandoned Ship, based on one of my favorite Piggy Book 2 maps. This map is so similar to the original ship map, which is something we are all looking for in this series. Now, in my opinion, it's not as detailed as Abandoned Port. It's just from my perspective. But this map is so full of awesomeness that it will be getting an S tier. It's no mystery for Abandoned Docks. This map is too good. Words could not describe how good this map really is. The build is insanely detailed, and it's personally one of my favorite maps to come out of this series. The lore takes a really dark turn with this chapter, showing a flashback of Dawson attempting to deliver himself to God? Yeah, this is dark. This map is an easy S tier. Man, the S tier rank must really love Jay today. The Abandoned Temple is, not that much of a surprise, a really sweet treat of a map. The build is very impressive, and I really quite love it. Also, Kona is canonically infected in this series now, so rip Kona, S tier all around. Man, it's crazy that we are now so far into this series. Abandoned Camp is amazing. The building seems like it took some time, and all the new additional areas introduced, like the area with all the crates and watchtower, are all clever additions that make this chapter much more fun. Abandoned Camp, you are also inheriting the S tier. Here it is, boys, the final chapter. And how did it do? Absolutely insane. This chapter is nothing like the normal lab, but that's okay. Why don't we look at this insanely huge map with 20 minutes of gameplay? This map is just jaw-dropping. Everything in the map is just so original, and the lore for Abandoned Lab is so masterfully written. It could be the lore for an actual horror game series. Everything down to the most minimal of details are just done so wonderfully, and no more words could describe how much I just love this chapter. Oh yeah, remember Abandoned City? Remember how we properly made it as the secret ending for Abandoned Lab? Yeah. Cool! This map is one of the best maps ever in the series, so S tier doesn't do it justice. That's why I'm introducing the S plus tier. Good job, Jay, you finally locked in. Also, the gameplay style is very similar to another horror game that exists. I think it was created by Mob Entertainment? I don't know. And let's not forget that the city underground is very similar to Garten of Banban. This is it. The final chapter. Abandoned Lab 2 is just too good. So good, in fact, no words in any existing language could ever describe how good this map is. It's actually much longer than the first Abandoned Lab, and the build is much better. There's even a whole section that has the properly built abandoned plant. Like, this area looks just so gosh darn good. The boss battle against the security system is amazing, and let's not forget the lore with the breakers and the chemist. Amazing stuff. The town is cool, and the normal ending is also an ending where you know that's not the true ending, and that there's gonna be a hidden ending. Oh wait, speak of the devil, there is an abandoned hidden ending. The hidden ending is so amazingly put together, and filled with humor. The humor slaps in the best possible way ever, and mixes well with the more serious parts of the ending. The boss fight against T.O. Jr. is super epic, and pretty funny too. Let's not forget the chase scene with the chemist. The humor just gets so much better there. But then, the boss fight against T.O. is where everything gets serious. The ending, though, is the only thing I have some problems with. When they just let T.O. go, it feels so unresolved. I know that Mimi didn't want to be a bad guy by letting T.O. have it, but it just seems like it's a loose end for the ending. Especially when Mimi leaves and doesn't go back to the safe place. I just feel like it's not the proper ending we've been waiting for. And what really pisses me off is when in the credits, you can visibly see that T.O. never kept his promise and is still stalking Mimi like Diddy's stalking his next victim. I just feel like Javian screwed up at those parts of the ending. Getting the ending aside, the build is insane, and the gameplay is everything gamers want nowadays. This chapter is getting the S+ tier treatment. No questions about it. Well, look at that. We made it to the end of this ranking video. This has been a project I've been wanting to do for a while now, but thought it would be a good idea to start once Abandoned Lab 2 came out. Now look where we are. In conclusion, the Abandoned series is a very wild ride, and is a very emotional, funny, and memorable series. And with the story over, I might actually shed a tear. I mean, it's not like he's gonna make Abandoned Inner City of all things. Oh, wait a minute, he is? What the fuck?